the gamer guy.
Nowadays, weird games are a dime a dozen in the States, but it wasn't always that way. It used to be that you had to dig somewhat deeply if you wanted to uncover something really tripped out. And at least for me when I did, life didn't look quite the same afterwards.
Katamari Damacy.
The game's name was Katamari Damacy, a Namco-developed title for the PlayStation 2 that could probably be best described as an arcade-style game, but it's so strikingly original that it's hard to think of a comparable game from any other point in gaming history. You play as a small, person-like alien as you roll around balls of greatly varying sizes, known as Katamari. Katamari have somewhat strange properties, as most anything smaller than its current size will become glued to the Katamari, making it larger. The more you grow it, the larger and larger the objects it can collect. This is an essential facet of the game, as each level, with the exception of a few, will task you with creating a Katamari of a specified size in a given amount of time. Objectives can range anywhere from a Katamari that's a few centimeters large to 300 meters, but those are only the minimum requirements. Often you'll find yourself trying to achieve the biggest Katamari possible even after reaching your objective in an attempt to get the best possible score. It's highly addictive, but the game isn't very difficult, and can be played in a fairly relaxed manner. However, you'll want to be at least a little cognizant of your time limit, or you might just end up experiencing a pretty menacing failure screen. There is one caveat with the difficulty though, and that comes with the controls. While they feel incredibly natural after a while, they can often throw first-time players off. Definitely take your time to learn the controls during the tutorial, and you should be fine. With such a brief description, you might think that the mechanics of this game are rather simple, and you'd be right, they are, but that's part of what makes this game so enjoyable, harkening back to that primitive yet addictive gameplay of Namco's arcade past. Katamari Damacy does feature a story, and this is where things get really weird.
Oh, I feel it. I feel the cosmos. Cancer came scuttling back. So yummy.
Yes, it's very strange. The story goes that the king of the cosmos goes wild one night and accidentally destroys the entire night sky, including the moon. As the prince of the cosmos, you are tasked with using the Katamari to roll up objects to be used as a fuel source of replacement stars or stardust in the case that you don't meet the stage objective. Meanwhile, there's a subplot about a family going to see their astronaut father, which definitely makes for the most unsettling scenes of the game.
They're larger than I expected, these space rockets, and so nice.
Now I want to be an astronaut too.
Oh, I'm sure your father would be pleased. Speaking of your father, where can he be?
Now, you eagle-eyed viewers out there may have noted that I have rolled up objects such as animals, houses, and even people, and yes, all of these things will be used to power the night sky. You might be familiar with that quote from astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson about how we're all stardust. Here it takes on a much more sinister meaning. When you're not mercilessly killing all manner of Earth life to create singular monuments to the king's vanity, you can always do it to create whole constellations. These levels are a bit different from the standard fare, but work on the same idea of rolling objects. Usually they're themed around an idea like rolling up crabs for Cancer or a bear for Ursa Major. It's an interesting distraction, but these levels don't appeal nearly as much to me, I'm afraid. Which leads to what might turn some people off of the game. The game is incredibly short for a PlayStation 2 title, easily beatable in one setting. There is replayability with trying to make the biggest possible Katamari, but some people I'm sure might feel dissatisfied with only 10 main levels. Those levels, however, are crammed with stuff to explore and interact with. The amazing thing about Katamari Damacy is that pretty much every object you see can be interacted with. Frankly, it blows my mind a little. Set pieces which you would think are just there to give the area distinct flavor like houses or roads are up for rolling if you get the Katamari big enough. Even land masses can be rolled at the right size. It probably makes this game have the best sense of progression I've ever seen as you move from thumbtacks to whole cities. It's a profoundly tangible experience unlike anything else. Beyond that, there's much joy to be found in exploring the world, from giant robots and Godzilla-like creatures to nearly copyright-infringing video game consoles, one can't possibly get bored rolling through the world of Katamari Damacy. Graphically, you'll be seeing a lot of polygonal objects, but it's clear that this was an artistic choice rather than a constriction caused by hardware limitations. Aside from that, they're colorful and expressive, especially evident when people attempt to flee the quickly approaching Katamari. Much like the gameplay, the music is also insanely addictive. If you're a fan of Japanese pop, the soundtrack is really a treat, featuring what are perhaps my favorite works from the subgenre. And even if you're not a fan, have fun trying to get that theme song out of your head, because no one is safe from it. Katamari Damacy is really strange. The concept is weird, the execution is arguably weirder, and the imagery is certainly a trip, but best of all, it's a really fun and intensely memorable game, which is going to make it, and its sequel, my favorite games for the PlayStation 2. Highly recommended. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like or subscribe to my channel for future content, but above all, please leave your own opinions in the comment section below. I'm always thrilled to hear from you guys about your feelings on the game or even the video itself. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you next time.